Today, I would like to share with you the development trends in the F&B industry. We know that the theme of this forum is mobile technology and marketing, but we need to step back and understand what consumer is doing today.
So, but I have to be partial. I have to pull everyone back to the reality over, what is going on in 2015 and what is going on in 2016, because we have to do business in the real life, okay? And 首先的话呢，我想跟大家来
First, a few words about the data I'm going to share with you. The data come from two sources. The first is Kantar Worldpanel's research of Tier 1 to Tier 5 cities. We would follow 50 families through collecting of barcode information. We would look at their daily consumption and purchase of FMCG. And in Tier 1, Tier 2 cities, we have an outdoor consumption research. For example, if you go to 7-Eleven to buy a bottle of water, if you go to a coffee shop to buy a cup of coffee, we would ask the consumers to use your smart devices to record their purchasing or consumption behavior. In this way, we are able to have a complete picture of consumption of food and beverage. And this is the source of data for this presentation. Now, the reality currently is quite challenging. China's economy is slowing down. The first quarter's GDP growth rate was even lower than the last quarter of 2015. So the economy is slowing down, and what we can see now is that if we look at per capita income growth, it is also slowing down. Consumers would expect their income to increase by 10 to 20% every year, but that is becoming more and more less likely. If you look at urban residents in 2015, the disposable income grew only by 9%.
It averages 8 to 9% annually in recent years. Now, I'd like to say a few words about fast-moving consumer goods. In 2015, FMCG's growth rate further slowed down. We monitored over 100 product categories, among which FMCG represented a growth rate of 3.5 and the previous year 5.2. So it was a slowdown over the previous year. You're all businesses in the food and beverages industry. Let me give you some food for thought. In the food and beverages industry, the growth rate was faster or slower than the FMCG as a whole? Give a guess. Slower or faster? Faster. For those who think your growth rate is faster than FMCGs, in general, raise your hands. Slower, raise your hands.
I think we are all very optimistic. 那大家其实我想下面这一张的话。
Let me answer your question with this slide. We monitored 40,000 households, their daily purchase in FMCG category over the past 3 years. Obviously, the red line represented the total FMCG. The light gray line represented the packaged food and the drinks. And the top line represented personal and home care. So from this slide, in the recent 1 year or two, the whole market slowed down. And the impact on the food and beverages industry is even bigger than the impact on the personal and home care, because the personal and home care increased the growth rate of 7 or 8%, especially in the skincare and cosmetics category, because people are looking for perfection and beauty and fashion. But in the food and beverages, we suffer a bigger blow than the industry. Last year, the average growth rate was a mere 2%.
Beverage market. 那我们跟很多的 Fortune 500 的
A comparison with the Fortune 500 companies, because we also help them and also their packaged snacks clients. and some smaller food and packaged clients. From their feedback, I learned that their growth rate slowed down. What causes the slowdown in the market? Here we're looking at the food and beverages growth rate. It says a 5% growth rate. It was largely driven by rising prices. The consumers are willing to pay a high price. Now let's also look at the packaging. Consumers are buying more, but the frequency of shopping goes down. Consumers are no longer as willing to go shopping in a Tmall or in a supermarket or hypermarket because the consumers has more ways to entertain themselves. Previously, they've got nowhere to go during weekends. They need to go to hypermarket to do some shopping. But now they've got many interesting things to do other than shopping. And this is bad news for the food and beverages industry and also for the FMCG as a whole. But there were still bright spots in the market by product, by place, by price, and by promotion. I'd like to share with you these bright spots. First, product-wise. In the food and beverages industry, the first trend we're witnessing is this fresh and light look. This fresh and light look. In the past, if you manufactured chips, it's a Texas barbecue flavor. It was heavy, it was oily, but now they're looking for a fresh and light taste. For example, Lay's, cucumber flavored, or pure salted flavor. The growth rate was very good. And also Haizhiyan. It's the salted beverages. And there are many products following this model because it features a fresh taste. Consumers like it. So fresh and light represents a major bright spot in the food and beverages category. The second major trend is health and indulgence. This is nothing new. First, health. Infant formula, the consumption growth increases rapidly. And the infant formula has resumed its leading position in driving growth rate. For example, formula for pregnant moms and infant formula for babies, and also formula for the aging population, and also imported nutritional supplements. The growth rate is as high as 23%, nutritional supplement category. Now, indulgence. Indulgence has always been a theme in the food and beverages category. What we're looking for is not those products that meet our consumption need. We also need a sense of indulgence like candy, biscuit, chocolate, and tea, and coffee product and tea product. If these products position themselves as indulgence products, then they sell very well. Chinese consumers are a big fan of Korean stars, Korean celebrities. Many foreign products benefit from the existence of the internet. For example, this potato chips, a special flavored potato chips. It's a honey butter chips. It's a Korean product and pretty popular in Korea. And because of internet, the Chinese fans follow what is fashionable in Korea. So this brand quickly launched its local version in China. And from its sales performance, it's a great hit. Therefore, when we do food and beverages business, on the one hand, we focus on local trends, while on the other, we need to look outside China and see what's fashionable outside China, especially these centers of fashion for the latest trends, because they are trendsetters. Next, by price. From the price movement, we can tell that over the past 2 years, premiumization is the theme. Let's look at the urban major categories. Their price premiums ranges from 5 or 6% to over 10 or 15%. So obviously, premium categories enjoy better performance than the commodity categories. But given that, the growth rate also slows down in the premium category. That is to say, if your product is not good enough, is not interesting enough, then it's difficult for the consumers to pay a higher price for yours. Because everybody wage a price war. Everybody has a very creative promotions. Though consumers are looking for better and more fashionable and more interesting products, the price pressure is still there, especially when CPI goes down. The price pressure will be huge. Well, if I may give you a specific product example, this is like an internet an internet celebrity. We call it 小明同学. It's difficult to translate it into English. The Chinese will understand who 小明同学 is. Well, this brand name is most popular among people born after 1990s. If you've drank it or purchased it in a convenience shop, you know the price is not cheap. The price it charges and the product it offers, you should say the price is very high. But given the price gap, it's a 192. That is to say, by comparison with products in the same category, it's twice as expensive. However, after its market launch, after 9 months, its penetration was very high. It attracted over 5.2% of urban population. That's a huge number. 5.2% of all urban Chinese. And also, in total, 12.7 million Chinese consumers. Well, this was a fresh and a light and fun, and also from its packing, its design, and its interaction with consumers, all very creative. If you scan its barcode, it has some black humor. If you scan it, you read it's a black humor. So given the heated price competition, the Chinese consumers, especially these born after 1990s, are more than willing to pay for the uniqueness. They charge twice as high as the comparable price, but they are fun, and they're willing to pay for its fun. This is a major selling point of products like this one. While at the same time, by comparison with indoor and outdoor consumption, we can notice the differences. When they buy to consume at home, they are most price sensitive. But when they buy and consume on the spot outdoors, they are not as price sensitive. Because usually they made a purchase in front of their friends, therefore they're more willing to pay for a higher price. Let's take chocolates as an example. If they consume outdoors, usually the price is 37% higher. Biscuits consumed outdoors tend to be 58% higher. In a hypermarket, everybody purchases Qingdao beer, but in a KTV, everybody purchases Budweiser, which is known as a premium brand. If you cannot expect them to eat more or consume more, you can only try to price high. And how to justify your higher price? You need to think about it. Then, promotion. Promotion is critical in the food and beverages industry. This chart shows the percentage of promotion as a percentage of urban shoppers' total purchasing volume. Close to 20% of our products have promotional elements. Let's look at the food and beverage in particular, the line on the top. By comparison with the skin and home care, the food and beverages feature a high percentage of promotion. But you know, companies are unwilling to invest in promotion. But let me tell you, we're in the era of a vicious competition. Sometimes consumers are not willing to open their wallets if they see no promotion. I've also prepared a short interaction program with you. Can you help me by answering which category has the highest percentage of promotion in hypermarket? Which category? Which category? The most common day category. Three choices: A, milk; second, fast frozen food; third, soybean sauce or condiments. Milk. The answer is A, milk. You say milk. No, it's not. That's not true. Well, the category with the highest degree of promotion is an invisible category. That is the fast frozen food category. Over the past years, the fast frozen food category suffers from a lot of difficulties. Sometimes people choose to order their meals online, and that are all bad news for the fast frozen food category. Last year alone, they have as high as over 30% of promotion. That is, out of 3 bags sold, 1 bag is given as a freebie. But promotion will have to be fun too. Geography-based or location-based applications can tell where consumers are and can match a promotion to their need. Sometimes their promotion is low price, sometimes it's some fun elements. Now, distribution, channels or place. Niels shared with us their research report. And we hope in the future, smart devices will take care of all my life. But if you look at total urban China, this is the current structure. Hypermarkets, supermarkets together account for over 50% of the market total. CVS is growing rapidly. Grocery store, these are small mom-and-pop shops. They have their unique space. E-commerce account for 4% in the total FMCG category, so there's a huge potential out there. E-commerce accounts for 10% in Chinese economy as a total, but in FMCG, a mere 4%. The large majority comes from home appliances and fashion. But if you look at the food we eat and drinks we take, it's a small percentage. And if you come to food and beverages, the percentage is lower than 3%. It's less than 3%. Usually consumers are looking for instant satisfaction of their hunger or thirst. They're not likely to wait for the whole day for the food or drinks delivered to their doorstep.
一个是 e-commerce，OK，e-commerce 的话，过去
There are 2 growth channels. The first is e-commerce. The second is CVS store that see the highest growth rates. In food and beverage sectors, they have exponential growth. There is another channel that is not put in here, that is overseas channels, things that consumers buy abroad and then take home. Now, consumers these days, when they go abroad, would, instead of buying luxury goods such as Louis Vuitton bags, would buy fast-moving consumer goods. Now, if you look at brick-and-mortar retail, I'd like to show you a number of figures. In the past year, hypermarket see some development in its penetration rate. And now let's look at this chart for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 cities. There are big differences. In Tier 1 cities, hypermarkets are saturated and we see slight decline. And in key cities, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou, around 96% of families visited hypermarkets, but the YOI gap was minus 1.1%, which means that the number keeps going down. Now, for A category cities, we also saw a negative YOY gap. Doesn't mean that companies should give up on this channel, because for B level, C to D level cities, the traffic to hypermarkets keep increasing as they open more stores. Last year, 80% of new Walmart stores were opened in B, C, D level cities. So in many cases, city dwellers in B to C, D level cities are getting to learn more about hypermarkets and get used to shopping in hypermarkets. It means that companies should not give up on them. We see great increase in imported products as well, and it is an important driver to the development of e-commerce. The overall growth was around 5.4% last year for FMCG, while imported FMCG grew by 20%. And if you look at the contribution of online businesses, if you look at the food and beverage and e-commerce accounted for 40% of import FMCG. Of course, people would buy a Nongfu Spring or Qingdao beer on e-commerce sites, but consumers prefer to buy imported FMCGs online. That is why for many companies, they find import goods a great opportunity. More and more companies have established their official stores on Tmall.com or JD.com that sell the imported goods, and that is not limited to the F&B industry. You also see cosmetics companies as well as many other companies that have established their online shops. And for Costco, eMart, they have opened their Tmall shops that sell products that are different from those that are sold in their physical stores. And if you look at import fresh milk, its penetration increased by 5% in K&A cities, and most people would buy such fresh import milk via digital media. Because of the emergence of e-commerce sites, more and more companies are now being sold on e-commerce sites, and many of them are launched on e-commerce sites. For example, last year, Pepsi launched a Quaker drink. In fact, it was not launched in any hypermarket. Instead, it was launched on JD.com before it was rolled out in physical stores. So this showed that after it was put on market, in 9 months, the penetration increased to 5%. If they decided to promote them only in physical stores, such a penetration rate would have been possible to realize. This shows that more and more companies are thinking about launching their products online and then move from online to offline. As I mentioned, we also did research on out-of-home consumption of goods, and the post-80s and 90s have a very different lifestyle, which would mean that the FMCG product companies need to pay great attention to. Now, in the food and beverage sector, let's look at the out-of-home and in-home comparison. This 60% of consumption is done OOH out of home, while 40% is consumed in home. So this means that it brings more opportunities for F&B companies. Now, for many OOH sites, the penetration for food and beverage is really high. This is the figures for 2015 restaurants. The beverage penetration was 87%. In KTV and cinema, food and beverage penetration was 50%. Which means that on average, when people go to KTV to watch a movie in the cinema, they would buy food and beverage. And for sports places, the penetration rate last year was 41%. So in all these places, they used to be neglected by companies, but in fact, they pose great potential. I'll give you an example, Budweiser. Now, in KTV channel, Budweiser was ranked #1 in terms of beverage. 65% of out-of-home purchase in KTV was for beer, and for Budweiser, it was very successful in managing such a channel, and it became #1 choice for beer. And in out-of-home sports places, 20% would be energy and sport drinks, but there are no brands that are the top choice for consumers. So this poses a great opportunity. Is it possible for a brand to become the top-of-mind choice for consumers? For example, Chinese consumers, when they eat hot pot, would prefer herbal tea, and when people do sports, they want to drink sport drinks or functional drinks. And this means that we have a lot of opportunities in such niche markets. In conclusion, I would like to summarize what I've said. First, the market is challenging, and in 2016, the market is going to still be quite difficult, but there are many strategies for us to realize growth. First, we need to trade up your consumers by introducing unique and health products with affordable middle-high income position. So such a strategy is going to be mainstream in the coming 1 to 2 years. Second, consumer behavior is changing. We need to cater to such changes, and importing or localizing imported products has provided us with a lot of opportunities as well. Number three, there are many ways for us to engage consumers. We need to use digital technologies to engage consumers instead of just engage in cutting prices. Number four, we need to find the best channel strategy. In lower tier cities, we still need to work with hypermarkets, but in higher tier cities, we need to work e-commerce sites to promote our products. And out-of-home channels are very important. It is a gold mine waiting for us to take the opportunities. That is why out-of-home would provide us with a lot of opportunities to do mobile and digital marketing. In the interest of time, I would like to stop here.
Any questions? Okay.
促销在整个就是整个运营过程中的重要性。
Now, I have been thinking about the role of promotion in marketing. As a consumer, if I buy something on sale, the problem is next time when the product is no longer on sale, I don't want to buy the product anymore. For example, if I buy package of milk at the price of 35, when it's no longer on sale, the price goes back to 70. I don't want to buy that milk anymore. So how can we use promotion as a tool very effectively? How often shall we do promotion? Or what can we do to, for example, we might offer specific products for promotion purposes only. What is your suggestion? Promotion is something that companies have to do in face of fierce competition, but is it good or not entirely good for brand products? Indeed, we do have a lot of debate on the effects of promotion, but I've worked in many other markets. China is not the market with the highest level of promotion. In many European countries, such as the UK, 60 to 70% of products would end up in sale. They would offer two products for the price of one, etc. Now, in terms of retail, this might lead to a vicious circle. It can be considered a poison pill. As you mentioned, if I sell something at the price of 75 and the regular price is 50, the consumers might wait for another round of sales before they would buy the same product again. This would lead to the wrong expectations from the side of consumers. But from the manufacturer's side, half of the cost of promotion can be wasted because a consumer might not have any expectation of buying your products, but when they see that your product is on sale, they might buy it just because it is cheaper. Now, for companies, we need to offer promotion campaigns based on the needs of consumers. So if we know that consumers really like and want our products, and loyal consumers, we should offer promotion to such consumers, and in this way, we'll identify consumers who are not loyal but are very sensitive to lower prices. Then we'll think about what to do in terms of dealing with different kinds of consumers. We also need to think about people who buy our products at lower prices or sale prices, but are loyal to our products. They may not be very sensitive to prices. They're willing to buy regular price products. Now, our past research showed that if we look at their consumer behavior, they would account for 20 to 30% of all our entire consumers, which would mean that this kind of cost is wasted because they're more than happy to buy regular price products. Currently, we have more precise targeting, and in the era of digital marketing, we shall be able to tailor-make strategies or promotion strategies for different groups of consumers. Now, if I may summarize that in one sentence, we need to study the sensitivity of prices of consumers to prices and the loyalty of consumers to establish an optimized promotion plan so that we could offer promotions to the consumers that really need and want them. We do have cases of them in commerces that are very successful, and we need to understand how we can do that offline as well. Let me talk about that after this meeting. Let's say we can reduce the waste from 30% to 10% and to save the company a lot of money.
Okay.
那我想，因为时间的原因，我们就先。
Okay. You talk about place, channel distribution related. I've got the following questions. First, to talk about the smaller format shops like CVS, considering they're most popular in Tier 1, Tier 2 cities. Let's take Shanghai as an example. Outside every subway stations, there is this Quanjia CVS outlet. It provides accessibility to city dwellers. My question is, in the coming 2 to 3 years, is this a format replicable to Tier 3, 4, 5 cities, or is it not? If it's possible, what about the schedule? How fast will these small format outlets penetrate to Tier 3, 4, 5 cities? That's my first question. My second question is, you talked about the launch of new products, and you said it was important to approach it online and then offline. For example, product launch is expected to be launched online first. For example, in the past, we might give out some freebies to people walking the street and then convert them into our consumers. But now you're recommending approach it online first, like functional drinks, functional beverages. Can you elaborate further on this? Because let's take functional drinks as an example. Usually they are consumed not at home, but outside. Does your model also apply to consumption items that are usually consumed outdoors? So that's the second question. Oh, two great questions. To answer your first question, CVS, over the past 5 years, has mainly focused on Tier 1, Tier 2 cities. because they were mostly funded by international investors, and they brought this new concept, new format to China. But starting from last year, more and more convenient stores are owned by Chinese businesses. They launch their domestic CVS version, and they're opening many stores over the past year. And sometimes there are joint ventures or co-ventures between Chinese and foreign investors. To give you one example, the biggest CVS brand in China, in terms of the number of stores opened, you know which one? The largest domestic CVS that is owned by China Petroleum, China Petroleum CVS. Meiyijia, a Guangdong investor, has the largest number of CVS stores, and most of its stores are in the Dongguan district. Dongguan is a tier 3 or 4 level city. Let's take Zhongban CVS. It has a high penetration in Hubei province, and it's in collaboration with Luosen. It's a JV between it's a local investor and the international investor. So if you look at China's hinterland, they are developing this new format too. And they're looking for international partners. So I believe in the coming years at tier 3, 4, 5 city, there is a great potential out there. But the format would be slightly different, because in tier 3, 4, 5 cities, they do not need to party midnight. Therefore, usually if you want to bring this concept to tier 3, 4, 5 cities or villages, you need to study the lifestyle of these youngsters, the younger generations in these small places. Your second question. What is your second question? It's about online first and offline second. In year 2014, we noticed many FMCG brand owners launched their products first online. Like P&G, their new shampoo product was first launched online. And also the functional drink Maidong, and also Guige, it's a cereal product. They were first launched online. You are talking about functional drinks in particular, or sports drinks in particular. Of course, they need to build up the hype offline. But I believe their offline component was mainly to test the market. And in terms of a volume, I should say you cannot invest solely on online component. If you're looking at these items, sports drinks, functional drinks, they are mostly consumed outdoors instead of consumed at home. You need to build this connectivity between online to offline. If you are at a sports court, basketball court, and you have a CVS store next to it, you should make your products accessible at the moment of consumption. You build up the reputation online. You build up the reputation online, but your sales, your volume are mainly achieved offline. But make your physical stores accessible to them. Thank you.